Hey folks, I'm Dieter Melhorn. Do you want to fill your bait tank up fast? Well, I'm going to show you how I use a Sabiki rig to catch white perch.
I'm going to try to do this in a hurry. And I've had some people ask about the Sabiki rigs. Yes, you can use Sabiki rigs. That's what this is. Two of them there. Part of the problem with the Sabikis, and this is a small hook one, do not use this type Sabiki rig. This is a bad one to use. I just happen to have this one laying around from the coast. Nice white perch. That's what they are, multi-hook deal. You can catch them on them. My complaint always, I dropped one in the floor, is that everything is under the seat. Is that there's the lost one. My complaint is always that these things become tangled very easily. But when you catch them, that's what you can do. There's right there, 4 of them on there. And I've had one that's got a hook pulled off, so probably why they were more. A lot of times I'll take these things and I will cut them in half with about 3 hooks each. That way if they become tangled, it's not that big of a deal.
Now basically what a Sabiki rig is a multi-hook fishing rig. Most of them have 5 to 6 hooks on them, and usually a little piece of mylar plastic that kind of looks like a little lure, a little jig, a little fly. They originated with saltwater fishermen that were using them to catch different saltwater schooling fish to use for bait. We started using them up here to catch white perch. White perch are a schooling fish in many of the southeastern reservoirs, and they will hit these rigs. They're a good way to load up with a lot of fish, put a lot of fish in the boat very quickly when white perch are schooled up.
Like I said, you can catch a ton of them in a hurry. The downside is they can become a tangled mess, and as you see here, I've left this one rod alone over here, my double hook one. Not that big of a deal. It's got a fish on it, and I leave it alone. Get this Sabiki set. Alright, not going to tangle up that bad. You get 6 fish on a Sabiki rig and you leave it alone, you've got a mess. They will rat it up. You'll be cutting it off and putting a new one on. So that one is buried in there good. I've actually caught so many fish that one flopped in the floor. I forgot about it. As I've said before with white perch, they're easy to catch, they're just hard to find. But when you find them, you can slay them. 2 there. Like I said, I've got a hook busted off of this one. There's another one there.
Now the downside is they will tangle up. If you are not paying attention to your rod and your rod loads up and you get 6 of them on there and don't get it out of the water and start bringing it up quickly, you can wrap them up into a knot. They're also a very light line, so if you get catfish, bass, some bigger fish on there, they can actually break the line and pull the hooks off.
So these are the small hook ones, not what I would advise to use. Now, generally speaking, once you get these fish biting pretty good and schooled up, you can just drop down and fish one rod. Got a couple of them coming to it. If you bring it up slowly, you can get multiples to come into it, which is what we just did. Put 3 of them on there. Boom, there's onesie. 2-zy, 3-zy. Easy squeezy, lemon pleasy. Let that drop back down. There's one, two. Might have got a third. Bring it up slowly. Let them see, oh, something's going on. Something's happening. Let's go eat. Yep, did get three. They're stacked up pretty good. Look at the sonar. Looks like a lot of smaller fish. You shot of the sonar screen. Pretty decent. Let me get a good shot of it for you. Real quickly show you what that looks like. Some days it's hitting the magic depth. We're right in about 20 feet. 19 feet is always the distance I try to start at. For some reason they like 19 feet of water. It took me probably 45 minutes to find these fish. I'm fishing a point here. Underwater point, community hole. When they're here, it's the greatest fishing in the world. When they're not, you'll wonder what you did to piss off the fishing gods. Today, it's looking pretty easy. Boom, boom. Boom, just reeling them up slow, trying to give a few more arrows another one lit on. Bam. Doing triples, baby. Thrace. I'm gonna have a tank full. This is the bottom line. I have more than I need. When it's on, it's on. It's one of the fun things about this kind of fishing for white perch is when it's on, you're the king of the world.
Now, as for storing a sabiki rig, there's all kinds of different ways. Some people take a piece of PVC and put it over their fishing rod because you got all those hooks hanging there. It's hard to get them secured in any place to where they're not going to snag something. A lot of people use them one time and throw them away. You can get these things for about $1.50, $1.75 a piece, and sometimes you can find them on sale for 99 cents. So some people use them one time, throw them away. But if you're going to try to reuse them, there's not really a good tried and true way that works. They make a sabiki rod, but it's kind of big and bulky and stiff, and I'm not a fan of them. So it's one of those things that you kind of learn to deal with to have the convenience of putting a lot of fish in the boat very quickly.
The words of Mac Byram, legendary guide on Lake Norman. They're easy to catch, hard to find. Nothing to these things. They just got you can buy these in the store. They're called Sabiki rigs, pescatory rigs, I think they may call them. It's got a little piece of mylar on it, a little bitty hook, a little bitty bead. Like I said, there's normally 6 of them on here. This has one broken off. And yeah, it's a great way to catch a lot of fish in a hurry. Let me show you real quick before I drop this back down. That's what an active school of them looks like right there. I mean, they've got it lit up. Why are they here? Why did it take me so long to find them? I don't know. Maybe it was just finding the right school of threadfin shad to get under, because that's usually what they're feeding on this time of the year. Boom. Reel it up into the middle of them. Boom, some more. Only got one. Wow, that's hideous. Fishing's starting to really go downhill now. Only caught one. If you're wondering what do you use these for, why do you keep all of them? Why do you keep 40 or 50 fish? One, there's no limit on these fish. Two, they're a non-native fish to these waters. Somewhat invasive, I guess you could call them. but they're great to eat. Smaller ones are a little more of a pain than they're worth. Bigger ones are great to eat. Wow, we're down to one apiece. Must be getting down to the smart ones. The other thing is we use them for bait. They are a great catfish bait. That's what they look like. So DNR and everyone else, just keep every one of them. There are literally millions of them. There are not enough people fishing for them to put an impact on the system. Personally, I believe they're part of the reason that the catfish population in many of the southeastern lakes is as good as it is. It's because of these prolific breeders and eaters. And this is a great food source for catfish, both flatheads and blue cats. How did they get here? Well, legend has it that they were brought here by striper fishermen as a forage for striped bass in Lake Norman. Well, anybody knows that anything you put into a lake will work downstream, and that's what happens. They made it through all the dams, and they're all the way down to Santee Cooper, which is possible, I guess, that Santee Cooper could have them. They're a saltwater fish that, like the striped bass, come into freshwater to spawn. And as we all know, striped bass come into Santee Cooper to spawn. As we all know, striped bass come into Santee Cooper to spawn. So I guess it's plausible. Perch good. I don't know if they come this far south. They're a little more of a northern fish, but they live here and do wonderful. Boom. Boom. We're going to try to get fully loaded this time. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. We got 4 of them. You can see where the butt. Oh, I could have got one more. I can technically get 5 on there. Still got another hook left. They're falling on the floor at this point. Bait for days. Bait for days. We got so many. They're falling in the floor. Well, that's kind of the system. It's not rocket science. Said one. I'm gonna try to jig them, move them up and down through here. I don't think I got them all. I only had 2. This is the time of the year. These things can be very elusive, especially in springtime. When they go to spawning, they can be hard to find. You'll be wondering, where are these things at? Did they get killed in a winter die-off? What the heck happened? But you get here late summer, fall. That one's in there pretty good. These things will be schooled up by the hundreds, maybe thousands. It's hard to tell just how many are down there and around some of these schools. I know this. We've had days where we've had multiple people fishing, and we filled a cooler with 100 of these things and left because we were tired of catching them. And the schools on the sonar were still full. Boom. Got a couple. Nope, just one. That's kind of the name of the game. If you're wondering where to start looking for them, your best bet are on points. Those are those places that come out from the bank that jut out into the water, gives you a break change in the depth. That's usually where they stage up at. Picking off schools of threadfin shad that come across those points. Gives them a little ambush point. That's usually where you find them at. Sometimes you can find them in open water. Usually it's later in the wintertime. But if you're really trying to target them, especially if you want them schooled up and feeding and active, you need to be around some points. That's funny, the bite all of a sudden got weird. Still on the screen. So, got him. Got him. 2 of them. A great way to load your belly, load your bait tank, and also load that rod up.
Well, hopefully you guys learned a little something from this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, be sure to hit that little bell so you'll be notified when any new videos come out. We look forward to seeing you on the water.